What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I don't know how this slipped through my hands. We were so busy reviewing the video of Dame Dash talking specifically about how he was auctioning off a third of the rock, and now it's starting to come together and put two and two together about why this is necessary in order to auction it. And I'm not even sure if we can say that the courts or any entity is making him do it, but that's the narrative in order to clear off a lot of this stuff. Now, I want to say in this situation, because I've been very, very critical of Dame as far as his disposition and his demeanor, how he labeled other people, but then karma is coming back to get him. But I'm starting to feel a little bit more compassionate for him, considering that this Billboard article was saying something that bothers me to my soul, because no matter how it is that I think that a person is portraying himself in social media, the reality of it is I think that the level of taxation that's happening in this country is absolutely insane. But let's get into it for a second. So in this article, according to Billboard, they're saying that Dame Dash is not only owing the $870-something thousand that is owed in a lawsuit, but that also he owes over $8.7 million in unpaid taxes, which we can attribute that also to probably interest that's continuing to accrue because of the lack of resources to be able to pay it off completely. Now, when he jumped on a live stream or he jumped on that video and he was saying, listen, anybody that buys this Rockefeller asset for 33%, you get a Rockefeller chain. If it's over $10 million, we know why that $10 million number is starting to hit a little bit different. So let's scroll through and go into it a little bit. It says just a week before a court-ordered auction, and I think that this is kind of dirty, but we're going to get into it. Dame Dash, 1/3 stake in Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records, which they labeling it Jay-Z's, but essentially it was a partnership in which, a third, Jay, Biggs, and Dame are all split up. The only asset that's basically being auctioned is a third of reasonable doubt. It says there's a stunning new wrinkle. The New York State says he owes more than $8.7 million. New York. I don't know why y'all like New York. $8.7 million in unpaid taxes, and that a Rockefeller proceeds must be used to pay down that debt. It goes on to say in a motion filed Wednesday in Manhattan Federal Court, New York's Department of Taxation and Finance asked to legally intervene in the proceedings ahead of the August 29th, which is as of the recording of this video tomorrow, in which the United States Marshal Service will auction Dame's 33% interest in the storied record company. Tax authorities claim that Dame Dash owes more than $8.7 million in unpaid taxes and penalties from personal income he reported from 2005 and 2018, all the way down from 2005. And that Rockefeller auction might be their last shot at recouping a debt that has been delinquent for far too long. So we know that this has basically been occurring interest because that's just the way that it operates when you owe taxes, right? To date, the department has been unsuccessful in its efforts to collect the unpaid New York State tax debt owned by Dash. Intervening in this matter may be the department's only opportunity to do so. It goes on to say it's a new wrinkle in an already complex situation, and that the auction is being used to satisfy the $823,000 judgment against Dame, won by movie producer Josh Weber in a civil lawsuit over a failed film partnership. But New York City's Department of Social Services will actually have first dibs, since Dame Dash also owes $145,000 in unpaid child support. Goes on to say in their filing on Wednesday, the tax department stressed that it does not seek to jump ahead of the child services in pecking order for auction proceeds. Now, I'm not even sure what the pecking order is, right? My interpretation of it was that the tax people, which I'm assuming that that's not the IRS, that's New York State, so, has nothing to do with federal taxes, but this is saying that New York State had priority, but apparently not. Goes on to say, but it offered no such promise to Weber and pointedly noted that it had secured a lien against the Rockefeller proceeds more than a decade earlier than he had. So it looks like Jay did win the war. Set to take place next week in a Manhattan hotel, the Rockefeller auction will have a minimum bid of $1.2 million. The sale will be for Dash's stake in Rockefeller Inc., whose entity an entity whose primary asset is Jay-Z's iconic debut album, Reasonable Doubt, and the rest of the catalog released by the Rockefeller, which dissolved in 2013, isn't involved. So basically, this is only Reasonable Doubt. And we know that Jay has put out a statement basically saying that, listen, whoever buy this, the rights come back to me in less than 7 years. So you got till what, 2030, 2031, 2031 to make whatever it is that you can make from it. And we have the first right of refusal, and we can block any such proceeds that is used or leveraged against this entity in order to continue to run up the bag. Because if we don't like it, we have, and I'm just giving you the general idea. If we don't like it, we have the ability to be able to block, because you can't use it without our permission because you only own a third of this thing, right? Goes on to say the owners of the other 2/3 of the Rockefeller label co-founders, Jay-Z and Biggs, have already attempted to stop the auction, including making changes to the company's bylaws, then intervening in a lawsuit, but a federal judge rejected such opposition in February. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, anybody that buys this, and this is messed up because, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that he owes in taxes, which is one of the things that we also need to have a conversation about, because it's more money, more problems. I was seeing a lot of people saying, hey man, Dame's broke ain't the same as your broke. You don't know what these people is going through. You don't know what these people are going through. And since they are public figures, which you don't hear it a lot from other people that may have had assets or may be as rich or was as rich as one time as Dame Dash may be. The problem is that the more money you make, and the fact that his broke ain't your broke, a lot of times when you make that type of money and you make a fumble, it's not the same as a regular person, that make 50, 60, 70, 80, even $100,000 a year, couple $100,000 a year that skip out on a tax bill or mess up. You can recover from that. It's much, much more difficult to be able to recover when you owe $8.7 million and we don't even know how much of that is interest, $145,000 in back child support, $872,000. Yo, this is well over $10 million, which is one of the reasons it seems like he's saying, listen, anybody that buy it for over $10 million, now I don't know whether or not you'll be able to recoup that 10 mil over the next 6 to 7 years. Anybody that buys it for over $10 million, we gonna throw in a Rockefeller chain as a result of it. So, it's messed up. It is. And even though, from a content perspective, I don't mind ribbing anybody. I don't mind giving credit where credit is due, and I don't mind disagreeing and holding people accountable for the stuff that they say in social media. But I will not, in this situation personally, and this is just my personal thing, I will not rub salt into the womb of Dame Dash if this is true, as it's being reported by Billboard. I will not be the one to rub salt into the womb, because I know that people like to celebrate other people's failures. I like to speak to whatever it is that's being promoted from a content perspective, or and just kind of keeping it there. And if people want to use their own lives as an example in order to illustrate a point, then we can dive further into that. However, I'm not one to rub salt in people's wounds, because I don't want to see anybody being attacked or chased down by the tax people. I don't want to see anybody go to jail that's not committing crimes. And I don't want to see anybody fumbling personally on that type of time. So I hope that, it works out for everybody. If somebody buys this, that they actually are able to make money and recoup from it. That Dame, winds up getting himself out of this and creating more great content, because we like to react to it. And I also want to see, I just want to see everybody do well, man. I mean, I know that, listen, it is a war, and between Jay and Dame, apparently. Jay ain't saying nothing. He just executing on all fronts, and he not having no mercy. But the real no mercy comes from the IRS, the New York State Tax Agency, the child support court, and whoever this film producer is that's suing Dame Dash that want his money. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tej Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. We love Tej. Good luck to Dame, and I'll keep you guys updated and posted as we continue to have these conversations.